You going to have another debutant?
Oh, we are. Yeah. Elijah will he'll be our sub this week, which ideally you play in the starting 22, but where he's at, it's a perfect fit. So had a pretty good game last week against Claremont, and he's AFL ready. It's just probably not full game levels just yet. So, but if he had to come on early, I reckon we'd back him in anyway. So, yeah, he'll be the sub. 282 was it? Player to play for the club. Did that this morning with some of the younger fellas. So, yeah, look forward to seeing him play.
So we've seen the quality. It's almost like the quantity now, isn't it, with him?
Yeah, that's right. It's the start of a long journey. So we just got to be careful that we don't put too much expectations on these kids. But getting them in the side early, exposing them to the high level and the pressure and that sort of stuff, and then being patient at the same time that's the next step.
What did you go through when you were weighing up whether to give Campbell waffle time or go again with him?
Yeah, well, just his lack of football over the last 3 years, and one game in, I think we'll see some growth with what he can bring and expressing his strengths. And first game, these guys, it's such a big deal. It's always been a big deal, but now everything's on social media. The families, the expectations, the whole thing, it's become a really big deal, bigger than probably what it was years ago back in my time. So dealing with all that and then having a game where you just got to turn up and prepare and play, and it's probably a little bit different. You don't feel as isolated when you go through that. So that's why we've chose to go with them again, and we think there's some more upside there. And there'll be stages where all those guys might need some waffle time. That's okay. We've got to keep the integrity of our selection. But we thought one more week at least won't hurt him.
Adam, you've named Callum Jameson to lead the ruck and the waffle. Does that mean you'll only be going with the one?
Well, looks like it. That's the way we'll lean this week, and we'll have to try something a little bit different. We did it in the last quarter and a half last week, and can Bailey play a full game as a singular ruck? That's his challenge now, and how much support we give around him, and that's what we'll look at this week. And looking at the Giants side, they do the same thing. So it may be different on a weekly basis, but we'll go with that this week.
Do you then back him up with either Jake or Oscar?
Well, I have to wait and see on that one. So we've got to leave a little bit to the imagination.
Jai Cully and Rhett Bazzo named in the waffle too as well.
Yeah, really pleased for both of them. Jai's missed 3 weeks of football, so and he's mid-season draft pick for us. Hasn't even been here for a year. So it'd be good to get him back in. He's a big-bodied mid, which ideally would have been great to use this week, but he's not ready. He's coming back from a little calf, and Baz has been through a lot, publicly and privately. So just have him out there and having fun and playing the game he loves. We're so happy for him.
How's Oscar Allen Punto?
He had the flu, so he's okay. He missed training yesterday because he had a cold. So it wasn't the flu. He had a sniffle. And we just got to keep an eye on those, when guys get ill, how we handle it, because last thing we want is anything bad to spread around the boys. So I think he went for a walk jog, trained around the park, and he'll be fine tomorrow at the captain's run.
Have you handled the criticism that came your way on Monday night and Gary Lyon labelling the team the Rest Coast Eagles?
Yeah, look, it's part of our industry, isn't it? If you don't perform well, you cop criticism, and then you move on. So yeah, I think we accept it, and we do try and do something about it outside of the media doesn't influence what we do. So we weren't happy with the way we played, in particular the second quarter. And we think we're better than that. So that's our challenge, is to improve on last week. And we're a different side. We're not the same side as last year, but we've got to prove to ourselves as much as anyone that we're capable of more. So that's our challenge.
Does it get spoken about internally, or gone are the days where that sort of thing's pinned up?
Yeah, if you spoke about criticism internally every time it come up, you have nothing else to talk about. So we've got to try and stay on our path. Be honest with each other about what we see, and that should be the motivating factor, not external people from the east. So, but having said that, I'm sure it gets to people in different ways. So, but I anticipate us to be more competitive around that midfield, albeit going against a really good, strong Giant side.
Competitive, like you look at the stats at halftime and you sort of think, oh, they didn't go hard enough. But you weren't clean enough either, were you? There's a lot of fumbling.
Yeah, I think that's been our issue, Duff, to be honest. I mean, our pressure rating on the weekend, I think, was second in the comp, the tackles, all that sort of stuff. But someone said it on the TV, it's a no fumble league, and we're fumbling too much. So, putting yourself in that position to be clean and take on a tackle or, express yourself in a way you can move the ball without fumbling, that's probably the biggest thing we need to work on. So I think we're better than what we were on the weekend, but it happened against Adelaide in the pre-season game as well. So yeah, we're working on that. And the fundamentals and touch and skill and all that sort of stuff is paramount to what we do in our program. We just haven't seen it on game day as much as we would have liked.
What do you make of when people criticise your ball movement? Do you set out to be bold and it's just harder to pull off than what people say? Or?
A little bit, yeah. We won't get anywhere if we don't fix the bit we just spoke about, about the contest and the field position piece in AFL these days. It's so critical that you're not relying on ball movement from the back half. So I've said this a number of times, albeit I think there's stages we can go quicker. We want to go quicker. It's probably ingrained in a few of our players that we've got to try and work through what that looks like going forward. But we've got to win the ball first in the right spots. So if we're thinking that McGovern and Barras are going to be the gatekeepers of our ball movement, well, we're not going to get far. So we like to be braver with the ball if we can. We've got to win it first.
Adam, you spoke at the season launch about trying to make your fans proud and keep bringing them back in that. I know it's only one game, but given it is the first game at home for the season, how important is this round for that exact reason?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Yeah, we've been going through a real tough year last year, and the fans stuck by us. So we want to reward them with exciting football and combative, contested football and all that sort of rhetoric that you hear. That's real. We want to do that. So absolutely, that's what we're hoping to do on Sunday.
How's Elliot Young? Is he getting? Is it frustrating for him at this point?
Yeah, it's frustrating for everyone. Him and Nick, they're both. We haven't got a lot of injuries, but those two are probably the two biggest we have at the moment, and they're probably our two best contested players. So, and they both play midfield. So but no one has a full list to choose from. So we can't rely on those guys, and that they're not. Hopefully, in the short term, we'll see them in the next few weeks. But that's, like I said, it's a week to week with Nick, and Yoey's hopefully next week, maybe the week after.
Just with the ball movement issue, and you talk about ingrained previous way of playing in some of the players, is that where the youngsters, Reuben, Noah, Elijah this week, where you can sort of give them that licence to be brave, be exciting? Reuben last week carried the ball quite well. You want to see more of that from those young kids? Well,
they're going to be we've got fresh, new, raw players that we can mould in the way we want to, and they've got high-end talent. So, yeah, the synergy of the group is still going to be a work in progress. Like I've been saying it a lot, and whether you believe it or not, but with 4 debutants and 4 players who haven't played footy in 12 months, there's 8 players who haven't really played together at all. It's going to take a little bit of time to get that right. So whether it's ball movement, contest, team defence, all those things, we see there's a journey on that. So, that is a challenge for the new guys to adapt to the style of play we want, and the old guys as well to adapt to a new era. So, yeah, I'm not surprised there's criticism from the weekend, but I'm not surprised that it wasn't perfect.
Looked like Liam and Jermaine as a sort of forward unit, small forwards last week, worked pretty well, especially in the second half. Are you optimistic they can keep that partnership going? Yeah, well, the forwards, they look dangerous. Yeah, they do. With Young Long coming in, I thought he came into the game in the second half really well. And Jones and Cripps and Ryan, and with Darling and Allen, I think there's enough talent there to, if we get the ball in enough, they can do some damage. So, and the synergy for those guys is pretty good. So, there's some compliance issues last week with our stoppages, and we let ourselves down in a couple of areas. But overall, I think that forward line can operate well if we get some good supply.
What did you think of them, the Giants?
Tough, yeah. The oppressive heat, their resilience, big body mids. They set the ground up well. Obviously, new coach, new excitement, and they had a really good win. So they were pretty happy with the way they played.
There's a lot made of Optus Stadium this week in the turf after Ed Sheeran. I know you don't train on it till tomorrow.
No, tomorrow, yeah.
Is there any concerns about it? Have you heard anything from the stadium?
No, well, I think the fact you're allowed to train there probably is a good thing. If we got knocked back, then I think you'd be a little bit worried. But I think Fremantle trained there today or yesterday. So, both clubs get to train on the ground. I suspect it's going to be perfect. That's my gut feel. We're going to be fine and not even going to talk about it. That's the hope.
Any catch up with Clarko while he's over here this weekend?
No, I didn't catch up with him last week, and I probably won't catch up with him this week. You go in coach mode, and we've got jobs to do. We're very focused on trying to get us a win this week, and it's not in the diary. But that's not unusual for anyone to go through when you're in this mode.
So on GWS, who gets Toby Green?
Yeah, well, he what do you have, 8 shots last week? So I mean, they got some high end talent in that team, and they seem rejuvenated with their style of play. So yeah, he's one of many, but he's their leader, their spiritual leader, and if he gets off the chain, he can drag the whole team over the line. So yeah, we need to put some work in him.